What is the Children's Centre?
Okay, it's a charity, has been since 1868 when it was founded by Henry Bloom Noble, and is an organisation that spreads its services across children, young people and families entirely on the Isle of Man.
What services does it offer?
Stuff like outreach and residential care.
My area, obviously, early years and play work.
We have family centres.
Philip Christian Centre.
Development through adventure.
The farm.
Fundraising. There's MoBex.
The contact centre.
Fostering, shortly adoption.
EPIC, which is the educational provision.
Action Songs and Rhymes.
I've said the farm.
The training company CPD.
And I think that's about it.
I've been at the centre for nearly 7 years now, you know, and the role's developed an awful lot since I've been here. When kids do play, they need to play, they develop through that, you know, learning to manage risk. If children aren't getting outside and playing, they're not learning to be socially competent with each other, with adults, and as a result, it affects their behaviour. Much of what we use is rope and relatively cheap stuff. You don't have to spend a fortune to keep kids entertained. You know, play is one of the most important things of life, of childhood. And that, you know, we need to invest time and money into that to give children back their childhood and to give them the best opportunities possible. You know, let's create a community throughout the whole of the Isle of Man where children can grow up, have a wonderful childhood, because if we did, we'd have made the best place in the world for children to grow up.
Very easy to forget about where your food comes from when you just go to Tesco and just pick stuff up off the shelves. And it's amazing the amount of young people who have come up who, when we plant potatoes and we say, oh, we can make chips out of these, they're really shocked. And it's amazing the effect that just stroking an animal has on kind of stress levels and anxiety levels. Well, there was one group that I always remember and I always recount. It was a group of teenage boys who didn't really have a lot to say to me for 3 or 4 weeks. We then got the rabbits, these fluffy, great big fluffy rabbits, and I gave them one each. They were cooperative, talkative, helpful. All I had to do was bribe them with the rabbits at the end of the day.
Well, I think one of the quite unique things about the Children's Centre, which I know from when I've worked across in the UK, is the envy of many charitable organisations, is the structure where we have the 3 sources of generating income for the charity. I mean, clearly the work we do with the Manx government is 100% funded by the government, for which we deliver a very specific service. We have the social enterprises, so the 5 nurseries and the holiday clubs and after-school clubs all generate an income, the profits from which go towards the charitable services where we're raising money from local businesses, charitable trusts, through fundraising events, and through generous, sometimes donations and legacies from individuals as well. That charitable income is a very central and vitally important part of the money that the Children's Centre is endeavouring to gain in order to sustain the charitable initiatives that we deliver.
So we've got 50 people signed up, and each person has pledged to raise £100 for the charity. And they come here today, we give them, get them in a harness and a helmet, give them instructions on how to abseil, and then they get the chance to abseil off the top of the lighthouse here. I think that, you know, in times of you know, austerity at the moment, where people are finding, you know, the pinch harder, you know, we can provide them with something, you know, they get out of it. So they're not just giving us money; we're providing them with a chance to do something exciting. So we can come up with interesting and fun challenges, and hopefully, you know, we'll be able to get money to keep the charity going in the future.
We're doing a vintage afternoon tea for the Children's Centre. We'll know at the end of the day we seem to have made quite a bit of money. Just loved it, haven't we? Loved it, absolutely loved it. Get stuck in and get out there and do things, because there's so much you can do.
Some of the times when people are raising money for charity, it appears to be one way, but a lot of the challenges the Children's Centre do actually give a sense of personal achievement to the people taking part, and I think that's quite important in getting people excited and bought into the projects. And I think it's just the energy and passion and fun they bring to things which actually make it really, really great fun to work with them.
Love working with young people and introducing them to the outdoors, because I find it made a massive difference to my life, and I want to be able to give that to other young people. The majority of the work we do is for young people with maybe social or emotional or behavioural problems. We definitely have had some really good success stories where young people have gone from having very little self-confidence and bad behavioural problems, and they've really developed through working with Mobex over a year or 2 years. I have to fight the perception in Mobex that why are the naughty kids getting to do the fun things? When you know the background of a lot of these kids, you realise that they're not just being naughty, there's a reason behind their behaviour, and we're trying to address that behaviour and change it.
Before doing this, I spent 2 years living in a flat on my own, where I spent the majority of my time in a drunken stupor. Development through adventure. The point is to develop yourself through getting out and about, and I think it's probably the best thing I've done. Everyone who's been here has bettered themselves from being on it, and that's exactly what the course is meant to do, and definitely recommend it to anyone.
I think the best thing in the world is to see a child smiling and laughing and happy and succeeding. And that's what we strive to do.
And sometimes it seems as though you're not getting anywhere, but when you talk to other people that are involved with the client or young person, they seem to notice little changes that you may not have done. So that in itself then gives you a little boost.
And I think that's one of the great things about working here, is collectively, whichever service you're in, whether it's a contracted service or a charitable service, we are all passionate about children.
Because as we support, children and young people and families to grow and develop in a way that adds value to their own lives, to their families, but to the community, that means that we all benefit from the work that goes on here.
You shouldn't just think of something very small won't make a difference, because it will. If everybody helps out in any small way that they want to, it will make a huge difference in the long run. And I think we're all responsible for the community we live in.
And for us to have well-rounded, positive members of society in the future, we need to be investing in those children now to enable them to do that and to be the best that they can and have a really good, positive life.